Everyone's talking about AI taking jobs. Politicians debate it, tech leaders promise it, economists measure it. But what if that entire conversation is just a distraction? What if AI is extracting something far more valuable from your life right now and you're not even seeing it happen? Quick question before we go on. What are you doing right now while watching this? Are you eating, walking, working, or just lying there? I'm genuinely curious. Let's talk in the comments. And while you do, let me show you something that's quietly shaping the world around you. This isn't about unemployment. This is about something deeper, quieter, and much harder to reverse. Today we're going to talk about the hidden economic costs of artificial intelligence. Not the ones making headlines, but the ones already embedded in your daily life. We'll look at energy, at data, at attention, and at how AI is creating new forms of economic dependency that function a lot like debt. By the end, you might start seeing your phone, your apps, and your conveniences very differently. Let's start with something simple. Energy. Every time you ask an AI assistant a question, every time you generate an image, every time a recommendation engine decides what you should watch next, something physical is happening. Servers are processing your request. Those servers need electricity, a lot of it. One AI-generated image uses about as much energy as charging your smartphone. One conversation with a chatbot can use as much power as keeping a light bulb on for an hour. Now multiply that by millions of people, billions of requests every single day. We're not just using AI. We're powering an invisible infrastructure that runs constantly, whether we see it or not. And here's the thing. You don't pay for that energy directly. It's hidden in subscription fees, in higher costs passed down by companies, in tax subsidies given to data centers. The bill arrives, but it's disguised. It's spread across your economy like a mist. You feel it in inflation, in rising cloud storage fees, in the slow creep of tech costs. But you can't point to it and say, this is AI's energy bill. This is what makes it a tax. Not the official kind. The invisible kind. The kind you pay without knowing, without voting on, without even agreeing to. Now let's talk about data. This one's harder to see because data doesn't feel like a resource. It feels free. You scroll, you click, you like, you comment. It costs you nothing, right? Wrong. It costs you the most valuable thing you have. Information about yourself. Every interaction you have with an AI system feeds it. Your preferences, your habits, your routines, your voice, your face the time you wake up, the things you search for at midnight when you can't sleep, all of it goes into the machine. And the machine uses it to predict you, to influence you, to shape what you see next. But here's what's interesting. You're not just training AI to serve you better. You're training it to serve someone else, a company, an advertiser, a system that profits from knowing you better than you know yourself. Think about it like this. Imagine you had a personal assistant who learned everything about you, your fears, your desires, your weaknesses. Now imagine that assistant worked for someone else and sold insights about you to the highest bidder. You'd call that betrayal. But when AI does it, we call it convenience. The data you generate isn't just used once and forgotten. It's stored, analyzed, resold, and combined with data from millions of others to create prediction models. Those models become products. They're sold to insurance companies who adjust your premiums, to banks who decide your loan rates, to employers who filter your job applications. You gave away the raw material. They built the factory. And now you're buying back the finished product at a markup. This isn't theft in the legal sense. You agreed to it. Somewhere in some terms of service you didn't read, you gave permission. But agreement under ignorance isn't really consent. It's extraction disguised as exchange. Let's move to attention. This might be the most expensive cost of all, because unlike energy or data, attention is genuinely finite. You only have so many hours in a day, so many moments of focus, so many decisions you can make before exhaustion sets in. AI is incredibly good at capturing attention. Recommendation algorithms, personalized feeds, auto-generated content. They're designed to keep you engaged, to predict what you'll watch next before you even know you want it, and they work. The average person now spends over 7 hours a day on screens. A huge portion of that is guided by AI, but here's the cost. Every minute spent in an algorithmically curated environment is a minute you're not spending somewhere else, not reading deeply, not thinking independently, not making choices based on your own curiosity or values. You're following a path someone else built for you, optimized not for your growth, but for your engagement. And engagement in this context means time. Time is money, but more importantly, time is life. When AI holds your attention, it's not just taking your focus. It's taking your capacity to do anything else. It's an opportunity cost that never appears on a balance sheet, but it compounds every single day. Now let's connect this to something bigger. Debt. Not literal financial debt, but something that functions like it. AI creates dependency. You start using a tool because it's free, or convenient, or faster. Slowly it becomes part of your routine. Then it becomes necessary. Your work depends on it. Your communication depends on it. Your access to information depends on it. And then the terms change. Prices go up. Features get paywalled. Privacy settings shift. But by that point, you can't leave. You're locked in. Not by contract, but by habit, by integration, by the sheer cost of switching. This is how debt works. You borrow something now and you pay for it later with interest. AI works the same way. You get convenience now, you pay with dependency later, and the interest comes in the form of higher costs, reduced control, and limited alternatives. Consider how many systems now assume you have a smartphone. Banking, healthcare, government services, even parking meters. If you don't have one, you're locked out. And if you have one, you're participating in an AI-driven ecosystem, whether you want to or not. The choice has already been made for you. This creates what economists call structural dependency. It's not that AI is bad. It's that the way it's deployed makes it almost impossible to opt out without significant personal cost. That's not a free market. That's a market where one option has become the only option. And who benefits? Not you. You're paying in energy, in data, in attention, in autonomy. The benefits flow upward, to the companies that build the models, to the shareholders who profit from the infrastructure, to the platforms that control access. This is wealth extraction at scale. It's not violent, it's not obvious, but it's happening every day in every interaction you have with intelligent systems. The value you create is captured elsewhere. The costs you bear are invisible, and the system is designed to keep it that way. Let's talk about what this means long term. AI isn't a one-time disruption. It's an infrastructure, like roads or electricity grids or the internet itself. An infrastructure shapes society. It determines who has power, who has access, and who pays the cost of maintenance. Right now, we're in the early phase. AI is being built into everything. Your car, your home, your doctor's office, your grocery store. Once it's embedded, it becomes very hard to remove. And once it's necessary, the people who control it have leverage. Think about what happened with the internet. In the beginning, it was open, decentralized, full of possibility. Now, most of the internet is controlled by a handful of companies. They decide what you see, what gets promoted, what gets buried. They set the terms. You accept them. AI is following the same path. Right now, it feels innovative and exciting. But the end game isn't innovation. It's consolidation. A few companies will own the models, the data, the infrastructure. Everyone else will rent access, and renting always costs more than owning. This is the silent tax. It's not imposed by governments. It's imposed by the architecture of the system itself. You pay it every time you use a service that runs on AI. You pay it in the data you provide. You pay it in the attention you give. You pay it in the dependency you develop. And unlike a real tax, you don't get schools, or roads, or health care in return. You get convenience, and convenience is expensive when someone else controls the supply. So what did we talk about today? We looked at how AI extracts energy, and how that cost is hidden across the economy. We examined how your data becomes raw material for systems that profit from predicting and influencing you. We explored how AI captures your attention and turns your time into a resource someone else controls. We discussed how AI creates economic dependency that functions like debt, locking you into systems you can't easily leave. And we connected all of this to a larger pattern of wealth extraction, where the costs are socialized and the benefits are concentrated. This isn't about stopping AI. It's about seeing it clearly, understanding what you're giving up, what you're paying, and who's benefiting, because once you see it, you can start asking better questions. Questions about who owns these systems, who controls them, and whether the trade you're making is really worth what you're getting in return. Stay enlightened,